I'll be taking a picture of this after our Zoom meeting so that you can see it a little bit better. So here's a reminder about camera angles. When we're working on a project, I want your camera angle down so I can see what you're working on. Thank you so much. So we are making a value scale using scribbles. So on your sketchbook page, you're going to make a rectangle like we did yesterday. And you're going to cut it into 4 different sections. On the farthest right side, you're going to fill the entire rectangle. And you can use colored pencils. You can use as many as you want. On the farthest one, you are going to see barely any of your paper. So the space is filled in mostly with colored pencil. On the 3 one, you're going to see a little bit more of the paper. On the second one, you're going to see a lot more of the paper. And on number 1, you should have barely any scribbles in that section. And I'll be posting a picture of this on our Google Classroom too. And I'm recording this lesson. I started recording it a little bit late, but I will link that as well in case you want to go back and reference it.
Wait, so technically I keep using the value of scribbles because whenever I do my IC ability on my drawings, I do circles.
Yep, you are using value. Congratulations. So after you've completed your scribble value scale, we are going to make another rectangle. We are going to cut it in half, half again, label it 1, 2, 3, 4. And next to this one, you are going to write Pointalism with Sharpie.
How do you spell that?
Pointalism. Pointillism. So we're actually going to start out with our first square on this one. So you aren't using your thin Sharpie, you're using like your everyday Sharpie. And you are going to do little dots that are far apart from one another, which means they are not touching at all. So it looks something like this, like a Dalmatian or freckles, dots. And the second one, you are going to put your dots a little bit closer together. And with your Sharpie, I don't want you to just bang it against your table. I don't want it to make noise. I want you to take your time. The normal Sharpie, not the thin one. I want you to take your time. I want to see just dots. I don't want to see little lines. And I know it takes a long time, but it looks so neat when it's all done. After you finish 2, move on to 3, where your dots are even closer together. Some of them might be able to touch at this point. And then in the 4 in the darkest value, they are going to be touching and overlapping one another. But you will still be able to see a little bit of negative space. Jeez. Sammy, I'm sorry that happened with your kit. Are they like this size, or are they the one, like the really, really thin ones where it says ultra fine point? Oh no. Oh, does it say ultra fine point or fine point?
Ultra fine.
Okay, just make them really tiny. Noah, you can use whatever you have. If you have like a normal marker, you can use that too. Like if you have like Crayola markers. Noah, you can do it with a pen. There's actually an artist who I'm going to look up right now.
Oh, Miss Anne. I was able to get all the gesso off because it was sticking a little bit. I just scrubbed it off with a sponge.
Okay, but were you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Because right now we have moved on to pointillism. And I found the artist I was thinking about. Arian, that's not what we're supposed to be doing right now. We're making pointillism with our fine point Sharpie in our sketchbook. You can do your gesso in the afternoon.
I know. I started it and I was trying to fix it and
I know, I get it.
how long does gesso take to dry?
Yeah. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, not that long.
Okay, so if I finish the front, it will be
Yeah,
done.
but you aren't finishing it right now because right now we're doing this. You only have like 15 more minutes with me, and I don't want to hear that you're doing it in your other class either. But when you're on lunch, you can use your gesso as much as you want. So my dots look really weird on this. Let me hold it up. When it's really close. Okay. So my first one looks like if you have a mild case of the freckles, this would be a pretty severe case of chicken pox. And then this is just the dots. Some of them are touching one another, some are not. And then I've started on one space. So this is your goal. So that when we look from a distance, we can see that there's barely anything right here. This looks a little bit darker, even darker, and then this is the darkest. So if you want to take a break from pointillism, I'm going to show you about an artist. So you have seen the most common pointillism painting probably. So like when you look up pointillism, you'll see this painting, Sunday afternoon. A Sunday afternoon. And they used pointillism with color. So these are all little dots that are just so close to one another that they form different colors. So in this shaded area, these dots are made up of dark blues and greens and yellows to create this shaded area. And then over here, they used lighter colors. The colors that you see are probably not the colors that this artist used. This painting is huge. It's about the size, it's larger than one of the bulletin boards in the classrooms. So this painter took such a long time to make all of these intricate little dots. And if I am correct, I believe that none of them are really touching. But there is another artist, David Bayo, and he creates portraits, again, using pointillism, except I believe he uses a pen. So believe it or not, all of these portraits, let's see if I can zoom in on this one, are made up of tiny little dots. So his hand must really hurt, that's for sure. But yeah, you can see that he uses an extremely fine point pen to create tiny dots to make up self-portraits. So the areas that are so shadowed, those dots are really close together, they're probably overlapping. But in the lighter areas, there might not be as many. I don't want to get the 5 secrets to true creativity right now. But I will share this artist with you guys if you are interested in learning about him. But I think that's really neat. And he is more of a modern artist that is very different from this painting that has been around for forever. It's cool. It is very unique in its own way. But I like seeing a new form of pointillism like this. So, if you did not finish your pointillism, you can get back to that. But we are actually going to be using these methods of shading with our first project. So I am unsure yet if we are going to do one project and I'll have you pick one of the methods of shading, or if we are going to do smaller projects and we're going to be using all of them. But what I want us to work on right now is, let's use hatching. So I want you to get out your ultra thin Sharpie. And we are going to practice first with a circle. So you can make this circle about the size of a quarter. I'm actually going to make mine larger, and I'm going to be using the fine point Sharpie so you can see it easy.
Your phone camera's frozen for me. I think it's just me freezing for you.
Is that everybody? Oh, geez.
No, because everyone's frozen for me.
Jeez, you can look more than I do.
It's just frozen.
Let me leave and join again. But while I'm doing that, draw a circle about the size of a quarter.
I did it best I could. I had to just clean up stuff.
Gotta love technical difficulties. Better? Thank goodness. Okay, so we were drawing a circle. I am using the bigger Sharpie. You are going to be using the ultra fine point Sharpie. what we're going to be doing is we're going to,
Wait, I can't see. I'm having technical problems. My computer's lagging.
well, I'm also recording this. So if you ever need to go back and look at something, you can go back and look at the recordings. And I'm going to try and post them to the Google Classroom as soon as I can.
Okay, we're good now.
Yep. So we have our circle right now, and we're going to be using hatching. And hatching is little lines in one direction. So we're going to try and create value on this, but not like a rectangle. We aren't going to break it up into different sections like that. We are going to do it just on this circle. So when light hits an object, I'll show you on this one, but I'll draw another one. The main area of light is usually about right here. So if my light is shining right here, this area is going to be so very light. There's going to be barely any marks in this area. Now over here, and this curvy shape, this will be our darkest value. This is where we'll have the most lines or the most dots or the most scribbles. The thing with spheres and the thing with all objects is that they have a reflection from the shadow. So imagine our shadow is right here. It will shine back up from the shadow onto our object. So this space in between the darkest area of our shadow, there is a little space right here where light is actually reflected back off of the ground onto the object. So I'm going to draw another one, and we're going to practice hatching. So again, this area right here, this is where it would be the lightest, and here is where it would be the darkest. So on our paper, we are going to draw diagonal lines and the area where it would be the darkest, and that's where we're going to start off. If we were in person, I would have everyone have their own sphere, but right now I can't. And I did not take a picture of one yet, so I will have that tomorrow, but we're just going to make it work today. We're having a make it work moment. So right here is the darkest area. In this area, we are going to go back in and we're going to add more little lines, all going in the same direction. So you'll start to see it's getting darker over here, lighter, and lightest. Aiden, you can't see it. Can anybody else see my camera?
Can't either.
Okay. No one can see me. Some people can. Okay. Well, this is fun.
Go through the top. It shows all those little cameras. Go through that and find her camera, then pin it. The camera that you're looking for. So then you only see hers appear at the front of the screen, because it's usually just talker view. Whoever's talking would usually be shown.
But I have this one pinned, so you should see it. I don't even know. Virtual learning is not fun. I'm sorry, guys. It's really hard to do art this way.
Yes, it is.
We're going to try our hardest. This is the last thing I do. You're going to learn art. Because we're having, oh, Oh, some people did find it. Okay.
Yeah, because I was gonna say now that I have it no longer pinned, all I see is you.
Okay. So what we're going to do is
It's
I
not-
just want you to get to where this is now if you're looking at my top camera, or this one this way if you're looking at my other one. So we have a little bit of shading
There.
right here, but the light area is right here. Once you have that, we're just going to be good for the day. So I'm going to give you guys time to post your thumbnail attendance to your thumbnail PowerPoint. Are there any questions for me? We will do more tomorrow and maybe start on our actual first project, which is so very exciting. And I'm excited because it's more fun to do art than to talk about it. If you do not have any questions, you are good to sign off. If you do, you can stay on and ask them. Have a great rest of your day. Don't wanna be